Hi, I'm Rick Dancer. Welcome to Get Real with Rick Dancer, kind of a special edition because we have been covering this story for a long time. The governor wants to close 3 of Oregon's correctional institutions. They've all been on the chopping block. That was Mill Creek, Shutter Creek. Mill Creek is by Salem. Here goes my train. Shutter Creek is down in North Bend, Coos Bay, and Warner Creek is in Lakeview, Oregon. And Lakeview got news today, and I just lost my guest who's on there. So Lakeview just got news today that they are, I'm going to resend this link really fast. And they got news today that they are going to be saved. JOK, there it is, boom. And hold on, it's just technical stuff going on here, guys. Oh, there she is. And so they got news today that they are going to be saving that facility. The governor's not going to shut it down. This show is brought to you by Coburg Road Car Wash. I'm going to play something really fast because it's a beautiful day for a car wash.
Well, hello, Renee.
Hi, Rick.
You're sponsoring the show tonight, so I thought I'd get some video going through the car wash. Is that okay?
Absolutely. And it's a great day for a car wash. I'm so glad you're here.
It's never a bad day.
Never a bad day for a car wash. That is right. As you can see, everyone's coming.
So that's our sponsor for tonight. And I want to bring really quickly, we're having a little bit of audio problems. We're going to try this. It's Jane O'Keefe. Jane, can you hear me?
I can barely hear you.
So tell people.
Is there any way just to have me on audio?
Okay. You know what? Tell me what we could do is we can, why don't you just tell people the news, what's happening? Can you hear me at all?
Is there any way to just have me on? There, I heard you. Is there any way to just have me on audio maybe? Or
why don't you, would you call me and you call me? So Jane, can you call me on your phone?
Yes. Give me your, okay. Your number?
541. Hold on. I'll call you.
All right. Okay. I know the number. Okay.
Okay.
I'll call you.
Okay. And then I'm going to have you turn your mic off and you'll just talk on the phone, but keep everything on there. So this is Jane O'Keefe. She is in Lakeview, Oregon. And we're going to talk with her because they just got news that the prison in Warner Creek is going to be salvaged. They're not going to shut that down. And so she was just on here. We're having a little bit of audio difficulty in her area where she is. In fact, let me do this. I'm going to call her because I do have her number. There we go. We'll do this the old-fashioned way.
Hello.
Okay, Jane, I got you. Are you there?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. So tell people what happened. Okay.
Okay. So about a year ago, in last August, we heard that Warner Creek Correctional Facility was on the list of 3 prisons that the governor was planning to close. And of course, Warner Creek Correctional Facility is not a large prison, but for Lakeview, it's a huge economic driver. So that was very worrying for us. And so when something like that happens, you have to figure out who's making the decision. And so basically, it was a joint decision between the governor and the legislature. So when it popped up first in August, it was going to be immediately closed. We heard it was going to be immediately closed. And so that was going to be a legislative decision along with the governor. So we immediately got a email and an email campaign going to the tri-chairs of the Ways and Means Committee, asking them please not to do that immediately, that would be just a terrible thing to do, Lakeview. And ultimately, the decision was made not to close any prisons last summer.
Right.
So then the decision moved to whether or not those 4 prisons were going to be in the governor's budget. And I'll try not to make this real long, but basically then we tried to get to the governor to not put the closure in her budget. We tried to get to the governor and we were unsuccessful. We did get to talk to one of her staff members and made a presentation, a community presentation. And that was as far as we could get. The closure for Warner Creek was put in the governor's budget. And so we first went to our legislators to make sure that they were with us, that they did not want to see Warner Creek closed, and they did not want to see Warner Creek closed. So once again, we redoubled our efforts to get to the governor. And we felt like every place we turned to get to the governor herself, not to staff, the doors were shut. Now, it used to be, before COVID, it was kind of easy. Oregon isn't a big state.
Right.
You could go to the Capitol. You could almost sit outside her office, and eventually she'd walk by, and you could at least, say, hey, could we talk to you for 5 minutes? But with COVID, it just got extremely hard.
Yeah, it's taken a whole level of transparency away. And even Democrats, Senator Betsy Johnson, I had her on a week ago, and she said, this just isn't working because people can't get to the hearings. They can't. And so laws are being made without the people of Oregon's input. And that's not a good thing.
Yeah. So, we would go to staff members. We went to her public safety person. We went to Colette Peters, the head of Department of Corrections. We'd say, hey, we really need to talk to the governor. And they'd say, well, we'll see. And then they'd say, well, the governor just can't talk to you. So we were just getting, nowhere. Well, finally, I just happened to be on a call with the governor for something entirely different, regional solutions. And I took my time for something entirely different and hijacked it. And I said, hey, all this stuff is important, but if you close the prison in Lakeview, you are putting us into an economic earthquake. And she was kind of surprised. And she said, and I said, we need to be able to talk to you about this. And she said, well, of course I'll talk to you. And she turned to her scheduler and she said, schedule some time to talk to Lake County. And we put together, this was in April, we put together a community presentation about the effects of closing the prison. We had our schools, we had this community group put together. And on it, we had the hospital administrator, the school superintendent, the Chamber of Commerce, community partnership person, all the county commissioners, the town manager, 2 prison employees, and Lake County Resources, and myself, who's a former county commissioner, and also Kit Collins, another former county commissioner. And we were county commissioners when the prison was brought in. So we were kind of the historic people.
Right. You kind of knew the ins and outs and how this all started.
Yeah. So they kind of asked me to chair it. And so we kind of went over our presentation over and over, and we just gave facts. We just had, the school superintendent was able to say that he knew for a fact that 10% of the school were children that were prison employees, and then some of the teachers were spouses of prison employees, and the hospital administrator was able to give, similar facts. And we just kind of went around with exactly how Warner Creek would affect Lake County. And these were facts that the governor did not know. Or if she did know, I think it was brought home to her in a way, hearing it from people from Lake County and how it would affect them. I think was quite compelling. And so, she just thanked us for talking to her. And she had questions for us. She wanted to know about housing. She wanted to know from the prison employees, just personally, what will you have to do? And they told her, especially one of the prison employees on our group, she and her husband had different seniority. And so they would probably have to go and work at different prisons throughout the state. They wouldn't be able to stay together as they worked out, their careers. So it just, it was just we felt like a good presentation. After 2 weeks, she sent word to us that she was still thinking.
And you guys are on pins and needles, right? Yeah.
Yeah. But we thought, well, no is easy. Still thinking is one thing. And then last week she got word to us that she wanted to talk to us again. And that was today. And then today she got us together again and told us that she was going to keep Warner Creek open, and that a decision about whether or not to close Warner Creek would be a decision that a different governor would make. So we are celebrating today.
So Lakeview and Lake County is kind of partying today, huh? This is a big day.
Pretty much.
So what do you recommend to the other communities that are still on the chopping block, and in the same boat you are, really? I mean, you guys are a little logistically, because Lakeview is like an hour and a half from anything. You're kind of out there in the middle. But Shutter Creek is going to really devastate Coos Bay North Bend if it closes. That's a lot of jobs, and a lot of programs in the Lakeview or the Lakeside sewer project is going to get hurt. How do they give them some advice? I would like to hear what you would say.
Well, I think that community group is important. Getting somebody from the major affected areas, like we did with schools. And I don't know, do they have a hospital there?
Yes, they have the Bay Area Hospital right there in North Bend. So yeah. Okay.
Those kind of things. One of the challenges they have that we had a newer facility, quite a bit newer facility. I believe that their facility is not in as good a shape as ours.
Right. Shutter Creek was a former base, naval or something. It was a Air Force or some kind of a base like that. That they transferred in. So and yours is pretty state of the art. The thing that people don't know is Warner Creek is like, you guys use geothermal power from your ground to heat underneath the concrete, to heat the actual prison and the facility. And it's, Kathy, my wife and I toured it, and it's phenomenally beautiful and really well done, so you had that going for you. But so you think it really is getting the hospitals, getting the politicians in the area, getting those people on board, and then pushing until it's unfortunate that the governor took that long to get to actually hear you, because how does someone make a decision when they don't know what the real people it's easy to have an ideal in your head, and this is what I want to do. But if you don't look at how that's going to impact communities and people, you can be devastating things that don't need to be done.
Right. Yeah, and it just I just don't know. I don't know their metrics like I know ours.
Right.
our isolation. You know, the other thing that probably helped us, and it's hurting us as much as it helped us, is Red Rock, which is a I don't know how to describe it. I won't want to say biofuels.
It is biofuel, yeah.
Plant, yeah, is not in good shape right now. You know, it looked like it was going to go, and now it looks like it's not. And I think that it being kind of on life support might have helped the governor think that, boy, Lakeview is really in bad shape.
Right.
And I don't know the economic metrics in those other communities. Of course, the other one is right in Salem.
Right.
So it's kind of pretty much headed, like they're really, like they're moving on it, right?
Yeah,
like
I think they
shutting
are.
it down.
Well, Jane, I'm happy for you guys. You know, Lakeview is like a special place for Kathy and me, and we really love you guys out there. And I also see it as a big win for rural Oregon, because you guys
Yes.
don't get listened to very often.
No, we don't, and we are very grateful to the governor to take the time to listen to us, to really think about how she could help us. I mean, you know, she did listen. She is helping us, and we are very, very grateful.
Well, that is good to hear. Jane, thank you so much for joining. Even if it's just on the phone, it's still, people heard it, they know. And go downtown and have some fun tonight, you know?
Okay.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Goodbye.
All right, you guys. So that's Jane O'Keefe, and she is on the committee to save Warner Creek from closure. And it appears that their diligence and their persistence worked. It brings up another topic I wanted to just throw in here at the end. I think that's what really the secret is right now that we're being asked to do. It's you know, I think a lot of us play softball, and I think it's time to play a little hardball. I mean, it's time to really get our message out and let people know what we're thinking, even if it's not popular, and even if it goes against the grain of what's happening in culture or society. And we've got to get people like the governor and others, and it's great. Governor Brown, thank you for listening to people and getting in there. But we need to have those meetings ahead of time before this drags out a long time. So I was just watching some stuff in Montana, because my kid lives there. And I noticed that I find it interesting that here in Oregon, we're increasing, businesses are having trouble hiring people. Some people believe that that's because they're paying so much on unemployment right now that you make more money staying off a job than you do going and getting a job. So in Montana, the governor last week signed a bill that makes it so that extra $600 is gone. You have to have a job for 4 weeks, and then you get $1,200 bonus. You just get a $1,200 if you stay with that job after a month. I think that's a smart idea. Today or yesterday, I think the governor there just signed in a bill that there's a few counties in the area, they have no masks on right now, most of the state of Montana, but there's a few of the bigger counties. Missoula is a city, Bozeman is a city, Helena is a city, the capital city. And their health directors were saying, no, we still are going to wear masks. But according to the governor and the information I was reading online, that didn't quite add up. So the governor signed a law that says they all have to be mask free now. So it's not anti-mask or pro-mask. It's like we need to, as people, stop being divided and work together like Lakeview did for one common goal. So Shutter Creek, Mill Creek, you know, come up with your plan, get well greased and understand what you're doing, and then go in, and then you just push and don't take no for an answer. I think that's part of what we've been kind of taught is we're learning through this reaction to COVID is, just go along. And instead, I think it's time to ask questions and make sure that the information adds up. And if it doesn't, just keep talking about it. Don't yell, don't scream, don't be rude. I just shared a post that a great local UPS store is hiring. Really hope folks are still out there and motivated to work. Great opportunities. I've got a lumber mill in Springfield that'll pay $50,000 a year and in benefits, and they can't get people to show up to do the interviews. Had a lady write me yesterday, and she had 12 people on a list to do interviews. They all were supposed to show up, and nobody showed up. There are only 1 million people in Montana. The biggest city is 100,000. Yep, that is very, very true. That is very, very true. So, but that doesn't matter, Charles, in terms of standing up for what you believe in. That has nothing to do with it. We can all do that, no matter where we live. No one is looking for work right now. Well, and it's causing a huge drain on businesses that are trying to reopen because they can't get people to come to work. So instead of creating an incentive to go back to work, my opinion is I want to say, why are we giving more and creating more of an incentive not to go to work? And I know then people will say, well, we don't pay the highest number. That's fine. Let's have that conversation, but don't yell at each other. We can have that conversation as human beings. And I'm just not going to play the game anymore. And I hope that you don't either. I was listening to a podcast this morning and when I'm running, and I was inspired when I left because it wasn't anti anything. It was very much factual based. And I think a lot of us, we need to be checking our facts a little more, finding out what's going on. Maybe not just buying into the message of the day. And for God's sake, stop listening to the media. That I can tell you for sure. So anyway, the news of the day, we need to, in my book, Lakeview just gave us a great example of how to go in and really plead your case. And they did their homework. And in this case, it worked. And they had to work at it. You heard Jane talking. They had to, she just went to the governor and said, I need to come in there after trying really hard for a long time. So we can all learn from that. And we should learn from that. All right, tonight at 5:00, we will be back because there is a ballot measure that's on the ballot right now here in Lane County for 4-H. And so we've got a bunch of 4-H kids that are going to come in, and this is the Buck Stops here. Buck Sanitary Service is going to sponsor that show. And these kids are going to talk about why 4-H is so important and what they're looking for from you as a voter. And that's tonight. And then tomorrow, we're back at the Hydrate Bar. We're going to be showing you what's going on with the newest kind of recovery treatment. And on Thursday, Bob Welch, remember Bob Welch from the Register Guard? He got a new book and a new adventure. He's finishing up his Pacific Crest Trail walk and a book that's coming along with it. And so he will be on our show in our What Are They Doing Now segment, sponsored by Chris Dental, Family Dentistry. And on Friday, Eugene Mindworks is sponsoring a show on iTech. This is a guy who's here sometimes and in Seattle sometimes. Really cool. They do a bartering program. So instead of exchanging just dollars, they are exchanging bartering. And so we're going to talk to him about the bartering program. And so I'm excited. We got lots of cool stuff. And in the meantime, we'll be doing other things. So what's the bill in regards to the 4-H? It's on. God, you would ask me that. We'll find out tonight. It's on the ballot right now in Lane County. And it's about funding 4-H. And I will get that for you tonight, Karen. So just tune in or go back and look at it later and stuff like that. And also, you guys, we did a show yesterday at the with Derek Roser Real Estate. And they're giving away 2 $100 gift cards to the new Main Street Tavern in downtown Springfield. And so you need to go on that show and in the comment section, tell us why you should get it. And he's going to hand out 2 of them. So, and go like his page too. I'm not supposed to tell you that because Facebook doesn't like that, but who cares? Yesterday, they screwed up my show so much. All right, I got to go. I got a meeting. So yeah, we're going to thank again Lake County for one, showing us that true Oregon spirit of hanging in there and just being rugged individualists, and as a community, convincing the governor that she needed to change her mind. And they did it. And she did it. So kudos to the governor. Bigger kudos to the community of Lakeview. And now we need to help Shutter Creek and Mill Creek get their facilities on the same off the auction, the chopping block, so that they can feel safe again too. All right. We'll see you guys later. Share this on your page if you wish to. And